And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the attorney, the activist, the family woman, the believer, and a good sister to many of us, known none other than Sister Attorney Sadiyah Karriem. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, ma'am. It means a lot to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast that you would take time out of your busy schedule to come on and have a conversation with us.
Well, thank you for the honor and the privilege. The privilege really is all mine. And, I thank Allah for you for, this mission that we're in and the tools that you use in order to expand this mission, you and your family, okay? Because you have some legacy behind you and in front of you as well. So praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. We're excited. Okay, well, the first thing we want, let's get straight into it. It's trending every day. Every time we get on Twitter, every time we get on Facebook, every time we get on Instagram. And one of the questions that we have plenty of questions for you, but one of the first ones we have is, after you saw the video, the TMZ video with Diddy and Cassie, you see the video, and then it's time for juror selection or election or how the jury breakdown it was. Do you think that it's after seeing that, can he be found innocent, or is he like how important was that video to the jury selection?
Yes, sir. So first, let me open up in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. And I greet you and the People's Podcast and the believers in the words of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
So when I first, the civil case, let me start with the civil case.
Okay.
When the civil case dropped, I actually downloaded the federal complaint that she had, and I read it word for word. And in my spirit, I knew what she was saying was more than just trying to cash in on a paycheck. I knew what she was saying had to be real for her. And as I was reading her account and the facts of her case, I could feel the pain of the sister. I could hear the trauma in her words as her lawyer put it on paper of what she experienced. And it was horrific seeing it in writing. And then the next day, we saw that the case was settled for $20 million, right? Unheard of. And then what you saw was, after that case was settled, then you saw a bunch of other women who came out, and men, and some, maybe the check was a motivator. But I believe ultimately what happened was the covers, the veil had been pulled back. And those women who experienced the same trauma that she experienced, or even less trauma that she experienced, it gave them an opportunity to be able to speak out for themselves and to try to get some justice. And because this is a civil case, the most that you can get is money. The most that you can get is stopping of certain behavior. That's how you get to be made whole. And then what we saw that video come out. And it only corroborated what the Sister Cassidy Ventura, stated in her complaint that really never saw the light of day, because it was put to rest on a civil side. So you got two different type of jurisdictions. You got the civil and you got the criminal aspect. And so as more women began to come forward, as we saw the video, which was very damning, and I'm quite sure, I know for a fact that his lawyer advised him to try to get in front of that video and acknowledge the video, because if he acknowledged the video, then it wouldn't be so horrifying. We wouldn't see him as a villain as much as we were seeing him as. Is it damaging to this particular criminal case, federal criminal case? Absolutely. It's very damaging, in my opinion, as a criminal defense attorney. And I've been practicing criminal law litigation on the defense side for 23 years, be the will of Allah. So praise be to Allah. And I do state in Texas, really all over, but mostly in Texas, and I do federal as well, and some civil rights. So we're looking at 3 allegations, 3 federal charges. And if you don't mind, a lot of people get caught up on what it is. We're dealing with a racketeering conspiracy.
Yes, ma'am.
Known as RICO. So what is RICO? So usually RICO is dealing with a group of people in criminal organizations. So, okay, we know what the mafia looks like. That's RICO. We know with United States American government, some people's opinion, that's RICO, right?
Yes,
because it says if you agree to help a group of people do illegal things over a period of time, then you can be charged for not necessarily committing the crimes yourself, but partaking in it, whether you know it, whether you helped, aided in some kind of way. So in this instance, in order to prove the RICO charge in the federal case, the prosecutor, the United States attorneys, they have to look, was there a group of people? Was there a gang? Was there a business? Was there a crew? We can say there was. So that not only are they going after Diddy, but they're also going after his companies. And he has a corporation. And so when you look at the civil case, you see that not only did Cassie sue him personally, but she also sued his businesses. And so did this group of people, this business, do illegal things? Now, did this group of people or this business do illegal things over state line? Did they use money? Did they use phones? Did they use the internet? Did they travel between the states? What we do know is the answer is yes. And then as it concerns the RICO charge as well, did that person or did that group help in the aid of these crimes? Of course, in this case, we're talking about sex trafficking. We're talking about bribery. We're talking about fraud. We're talking about prostitution. So he doesn't have to be a part of the crime itself. He can be a part of the plan of the crime. And of course, it's his business. So do we say that, can the prosecutor prove this case on that aspect? Probably check. Probably check. And I say probably because we're dealing with the American justice system.
Yes, ma'am.
So we know the mind of the enemy. So what we may look like, we may look at the case and say, okay, based on the elements of this crime, check, 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 therefore he's guilty. The enemy may do something different. So then we got the sex trafficking by force, by fraud, by coercion. And so the law punishes people who use force, lies, threats to make others do sex work. We're talking about sex trafficking, or who benefits by the person's sex work by using force. Now, in order to be convicted of this particular type of crime, sex trafficking, then you have to look at whether the person was recruited, transported, was it helped arrange? Did the person who was recruiting and transporting, did they ignore the signs that this person was being forced, threatened, tricked, or controlled, right? Were they being beaten? Was there drugs to induce it? Were there some exploitation? Did they use extortion, blackmail? So those are some elements that if they can prove that, check on the sex crimes. And then was the person who was made to perform for acts of money or something of value, right? Did they perform the sex acts thinking that their career was going to be advanced in order to survive economically, right? Did they have some type of drug addiction? So was there some type of benefit for them? And then this last charge that we're talking about as it concerns the Diddy trial, and there's a lot of crimes that were happening amongst this, but these are the 3 main charges. Was there transportation for prostitution? They call it the Mann Act. And so the law makes it illegal to transport someone across state lines if your goal is for them to do sex work or involve them in any kind of illegal sexual activity. And so the person can get convicted if the person has moved between states, whether they drove, they flew, they walked across state lines. And the reason for moving them was to perform illegal sexual acts, including prostitution. So the person doing the transporting had to know the real purpose behind the travel. All right, so those are the elements of that particular crime. I just try to make it into the layman's version.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if we look at because the defense hasn't gone yet, right? There's always 3 sides. Is their side, prosecution side, United States attorney. it's the defense side, and then it's what really truly happened, right? So we can never really get into what really truly happened. So we can only see what has been presented. And so far, I think today is day 10. So of the prosecution side. So we're still looking at 2 weeks left on this particular trial. And let me say this, as a criminal defense attorney, I have to say this, you're presumed innocent, right? It is the burden of the United States attorney in order to make its case. And again, like I said before, it could be apparent to us that an individual may be guilty of a crime. I've been in trials where police officer shoots and kills someone, and you watch them kill them execution style. And you hear them say, I'm going to kill you. You hear them use excessive force. And at the end of the day, because of the corrupt jury, the corrupt judge, the corrupt criminal justice system that really doesn't give justice to the Black man or the Black woman here in America, then these officers, they get exonerated. We see this every single day. We could turn on the news right now and watch what is happening. And we get disappointed. So what happens in the Diddy trial, Sean Combs trial, it's a lost permissive will. But based on my opinion, what I see so far, of course, the defense side, they're going to say that this was mutual consent. These alleged FOs, I don't even want to use that word.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
These alleged FOs, they were consensual sex orgies, and there was no criminal activity taking place. And then he talked about mutual combat. This is in the opening statements. There was a mutual abuse. So now you victimizing her, and jurors are not going to appreciate that. And so when she got on the stand, and she didn't have to, her case was settled. She walked away with her $20 million. She didn't have to come back. She didn't have to testify. This sister, 8.5 months pregnant, got on the stand to tell her truth. And I wasn't in the courtroom, but when you read what others have reported that was in the courtroom, you know that this sister wasn't lying. One, because there was other witnesses who corroborated the abuse, the horrendous abuse that she endured, the graphic abuse that she endured, the imbalance of power and control between her and this man, who there was a tremendous age gap. And then you listen to the other crimes that took place, like the assistants who talk about them securing illegal drugs. You heard from the sex workers who talked about going across state line in order to perform prostitution and get paid. The hush money that was given. The person who actually had the video you talked about early, where she was getting beat down, brutally beat down.
Yes, ma'am.
That he was bribed in order to not release that video. I mean, there's so many crimes that took place. You heard from Sister Cassie's mother, who took a loan, an equity loan out of her home to pay him $20,000 so that he would not submit this revenge porn, during the Christmas holidays, because she had moved on with another man. I mean, the amount of trauma and abuse. You heard from the expert testimony who talked about the dynamics between being in a traumatic, abusive relationship and the imbalance of power between the two. You heard from her about the abuse of having urinary tract infections, and she was still forced to commit these sexual acts that she didn't want to do, how she had to disassociate while these men were just really, in essence, she was so doped and drugged up, she couldn't consent. She was manipulated. She couldn't consent. I mean, when I hear all of the facts of this case, I am horrified for her, but I'm also proud of her for how she stood up, how she spoke her truth, how she fought back, how she fought her own demons, how she came forward. Even in the midst of it, she talked about how she didn't want to live. She has 2 daughters she's living for now. And I forgot whether this is a daughter or a son that she's carrying, but she's carrying life, and she wants a new reality for her children. The fact that she has this man who's listening to all of these horrific things, and he knew about them. Of course, he's helping her heal through them. Her drug addiction, how she had to go into a hospital, a mental health hospital, because she walked out in traffic, wanted to end her life. But Allah has something else in store for her to save other girls who are in the same situation as her, to be able to stand up and speak on her own behalf, to come forward, to say enough is enough. I know I talked a lot, but I'm like,
no, we love it. We love it.
I'm real passionate about this. I'm real passionate about the woman, right? Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And we're looking at the cover being pulled back, the veil being pulled back. We're looking at the treatment of a Black woman here in America and all over the planet Earth.
Yes, ma'am.
And how she's being treated on front page, full front. But we're also seeing the hand of Allah in all of this, saying enough is enough. And we got to protect our women. We got to stand up for our women. And we got to stand up for ourselves. And that there is some more work to be done in the reformation and the transformation of the woman here in North America and all over the planet. So thank you for this opportunity, brother. Continue to ask your question.
Oh, yes, ma'am. You teaching. Praise be to Allah. And this is what we love on People's Podcast. People are bear witness. Thank you. Somebody said, that's right. Walaikum salam, Naima. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for breaking it down. And sister said, that's right. And you all are teaching. Thank you to Sister Auntie, Sister Hope, Sister Miriam, Brother Musa, Brother Kente, everybody who shows love all around the world. Okay, so we got so many follow-up questions for you. And of course, thank you to you and your family as well. Okay, so Sister Attorney, we want to know is, with the apology video, when he apologized, was that, did that sway anything, or how did that play? Was that like you said, getting in front of the case, or what are your thoughts on the apology video?
That apology video was strategy. It was definitely strategy. You know, it's crisis control. He had no choice but to get in front of it. I mean, the video speaks for itself. You know, the brutalization and the beatdown of this Black woman. And so, in light of the civil case that she filed, in light of the civil cases that have been coming out, his lawyer did right. His lawyer told him to go and you make a public apology. There may, and I'm quite sure there is, some sincerity in it. I'm quite sure he has some time to reflect on it. He has to have some time. I don't think that his heart is so stone cold that he is not taking stock of all of this that is happening. So he had no choice, but I do believe it's strategy as well.
Okay, great. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your response. Walaikum salam, Sister Mimi. Walaikum salam, Brother Braden, representing Mosque number 74. Thank you all to everybody who's watching. Please let us know what city you're watching from. The next question we have is the conviction, excuse me, the conviction rate of the feds. Everybody keeps saying it's a high conviction rate. Doesn't matter that it's in federal court. Like his probability of not getting off. Jesus Christ.
Well, you know, in the federal court, one, you're dealing with the organized crime.
Yes, ma'am.
Two, you're dealing with crime that is occurring over state lines. You need to get some water, brother. Go get some water.
I got it right here with me. I got it right here with me.
Okay. Take care of my brother.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, you have crimes that occurred intrastate and interstate. And so that's when the federal government comes in. And then plus, because this is such a high profile case, he's such a high profile man. And, you know, I would not also say that there is some good that he was doing that was going against the system of the enemy. And so in making sure that he sat down, silenced him, he was going to expose his filth. And I'm talking about our dear brother Sean Combs, to expose his filth. And so it doesn't really matter whether it's state or federal. Of course, with the RICO charge, he's looking at some significant time for sure in the federal court.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And so many people are showing love. Thank you all for watching all around the world. People said, Brother Michael from Chicago. Thank you, Naima. Thank you, Miriam. They're making water jokes, saying make sure I hydrate. Thank you, y'all. My sisters are funny. The Enemy's Public with Brother Nasir. Thank you, people showing love from Connecticut. Thank you, Mosque number 85. New Brunswick, New Jersey. Okay, thank you all very much. All right, yes, ma'am. We wanted to ask you about the race card, right? So what we're seeing on all social media, everybody's fighting. And the majority things that I see are black people in the comments saying she's trying to take her brother down. And Harvey Weinstein and Elvis or other white men, if they can uh, beat and abuse their women, how come Diddy can't beat and abuse her? What do you say to that when people say she shouldn't take her brother down?
I don't disagree totally with that. I don't think she's trying to take her brother down. I honestly think that she's trying to reclaim her autonomy and her sovereignty over herself. And this is a part of her healing process. It just so happens that it was a brother who beat her down. It was a brother who took control over her life. And yes, this black man is on trial, but let's be clear. But the real criminal is the white man who fed him his mind. We're talking about a depraved mindset. See, he didn't create this culture. He consumed it. He was shaped by it. And then he began to imitate his oppressor. This is something that is not innate to the black man or the black woman, this type of behavior. This is something that is fed, taught, trained, and bred into us. So while we hold our brother accountable, we must expose the architect behind this madness.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking at right now. So it's not about taking him down. It's about taking this modern Babylon down. It's about pulling back the cover of this filth, because Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he talks about the unraveling of a nation.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that's what we're seeing. We saw that with Harvey Weinstein. We know who controls Hollywood. We know that the synagogue of Satan is controlling Hollywood, and he is feeding us this. This is a mindset. And so instead of condemning our dear sister, right? Because we hear the messenger talk about when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a whole civilization. We hear the messenger talk about a nation can rise no higher than this woman. I say that again. And then we taught also that when you see a no good woman, this is the messenger. She was made that way by a no good man. But then you have to ask, what kind of man, what mind does this man have? And it's because he took on the mind of the enemy. So there has to be separation between us. We can't take on this enemy system. We can't take the ways of the enemy and then we want to make the woman at fault. We're not going to play the blame game here. So no, we're not taking the brother down because the brother had choice. The brother had sovereignty over his own choices. But what he did and what he decided to do, and again, it's a whole list of women who have come forward and men who have come forward about this imbalance of power, about this coercion, this deception, this manipulation, this abuse. So this is a day of reckoning for Diddy, but it's a day of reckoning for all of us so that we can see this and learn the lesson in it. And not point fingers, but learn the lesson so that we can separate ourselves from this enemy's filth. And we can protect the black man and the black woman. And we have responsibility as the black man in that protection.
Beautiful. All praise to Allah, your teaching. Sister Attorney and people are bearing witness. Assalamu alaikum and Southwest region. Okay, of course, Houston was going to tap in. I'm a man, but Paco said he's a man and he likes to hear a woman speak. People are just going crazy in the comments. Thank you all very much. Thank you for this trial breakdown. Thank you, Sister Miriam. Okay, also, we wanted to ask.
Sister Miriam, my sister, your sister?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, beautiful. The next question we have for you is the notion of, is she a black woman? Because what I see from a lot of the comments, forget the Kim Porter and Albie, all of the other black men and black women who've come out and spoken at Don Richardson and people who are saying something. When it comes to Cassie, people are acting as if some of the people in the comments are acting as if she's not a sister or she's not a black woman. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no empathy or sympathy towards her hurt. It's almost like, she knew what she was there for. How come she didn't leave? Why do you think there's not enough sympathy and empathy for her from the community at whole? I'm very surprised. I thought everybody was going to rally around her, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Why do you think that is?
Because of the enemy time. I mean, this is the agenda. You know, the Black woman is the most disrespected, neglected, abused woman here on the planet. And I mean, you see this in all spheres of systems of the enemy, whether it's the criminal justice system, the education system, you know, the medical, you know, the healthcare system. We see that the Black woman is on the bottom of the totem pole. We look at the maternal deaths of Black women, maternal infant deaths of Black women. You know, they think that we don't have the same kind of pain as the white woman. We die at higher rates from stress and cancer and disease than the white woman. You know, in the educational system, you know, it is the Black girls and the Black women who are disenfranchised the most. The criminal justice system. So when we look at the reality of where the Black woman is on this planet Earth, right, we are on the totem pole of it all. And it was made this way. We objectified, we Mamies, we Jezebels. So we're caricatures. We really don't exist as a real life human being, but for the benefit of someone else. And because we have been placed in this position by the enemy, that mindset is still there. The images that you see, again, we're talking about Hollywood and the filth and what is betrayed. And so I'm not surprised because we're taking on the mindset of the enemy. The Black woman is the mother of civilization if we but understood. We are the second self of God. That means that when he looked into himself, he took the best part, not to take the away of the actual God, the Black man, but we are his helpmeet. He's the Khalifa. He's standing in the place of God, and we are there to help him in that mission for Allah, for God. But if you can destroy the Black woman, you destroy the nation, the moral fiber of a nation. That's why the messenger said 75% of his teachings is with the Black woman, the reformation, the transformation of the Black woman. And so if you can kill the messenger of Allah and you can kill his woman, destroy his woman and what people say, stop her from being covered and protected, then you can control the Black man and his civilization. But we know that time is up. We know that Allah is on the scene. We know that judgment is here. And again, Allah is pulling back the covers and the unraveling. And so I don't care what anybody says about the Black woman. She is the mother of civilization. And there is a duty and a mandate from the Black man to protect, to respect, honor the Black woman.
Yes, ma'am.
I could keep going on about her, about
yes,
me, about us.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful people are showing love. Sister Michelle says, Mujadalia, teach that from the righteous perspective. Sister Sandra, alaikum salam from Cincinnati, tuning in. Thank you, shout out to Cincinnati. The enemy's public, teach sister. Thank you, beautiful lesson in New Jersey, 1997. Praise be to Allah, minister. People just bearing witness to you.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. And we are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast, and we're coming right back to our sister Attorney Sadiyah Karriem, who is teaching great and giving us a lot of amazing information as well as inspiration. Thank you to everybody who's watching and continues to show love to the People's Podcast. Thank you for all of the super chats, every anonymous cash app. You are truly assist in helping us keep going, and we come right back to our sister. And shout out to Moss number 45 and all of the believers, and shout out to the drill teams down there holding it down, who you always get excited about seeing. All right, here we go. With the People's Podcast. Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Okay, boom. All right, right back with our sister, Attorney Sadiyah Karriem, and we have a few more questions for her dealing with the Diddy case. Okay, the next one I want to. Oh, boom, perfect. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to know about. sure the empathy, sympathy, race card, black. Boom. There we go. Yes, ma'am. Your passion for activism and being on the front line and dealing with, as I say, essays and the victims and speaking up for the Black woman. Do you think that when cases like this come up, it empowers the women, empowers the sisters to be more outspoken? Or do you think when they see the comments or see men posting things like, we ain't listening to that, or does that do more damage?
So let me be transparent. The reason why I'm a lawyer is because I dealt with my own sexual abuse as a child from the age of 5 to 10 years old. And at the age of 10, I had an opportunity. I spoke up for myself. Because I spoke up for myself against my abuser, my stepfather, I had an opportunity, almost had an opportunity to have a trial. And as I was preparing for that trial at the age of 10, I remember sitting in the witness box as the prosecutor was asking me questions. And the thought in my mind was that I wanted to advocate for those who couldn't advocate for themselves. I had a desire to speak for those who are afraid to stand up. And this is as a 10-year-old little girl. And so at that age, I knew for a fact that this was my passion, this was my purpose, and this was a part of my mission, was to advocate in the legal sense, but also in the spiritual.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, like, when I tell you everything else was hard, being a lawyer was the easiest thing. Being an advocate for other people was the easiest thing for me. And I never looked back from that moment to become a lawyer and advocate. I thought I had to be a lawyer in order to advocate. I consider myself a freedom fighter, right? Free you emotionally, free you mentally, and even if it's legally, physically to free you. But this is what I do. So because of that, I have a tremendous amount of compassion and empathy because so many women are in hostage because of this. And if you can be free physically, emotionally, but ultimately spiritually, then you can help save someone else. So I have a tremendous amount of passion behind this.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Excellent. People bear witness all around the world. Yes, ma'am. We want to know, what can some of the other women and sisters do to who may be going through this and see it and want to speak out and advocate for themselves? What should they do?
One, they gotta, of course, pray to God for that, because there's fear there. He'll give you courage. He gives you a sound mind. He doesn't give you a spirit of fear. So being able to step out and not have that fear, because on the other side of it is divine justice, if but they only knew. So to step out, transmute that fear into courage. Tell somebody. We'll listen. Tell somebody. Our daughters, and then not be silent. See, that's the thing in our community, in our Black community per se, we have a culture of silence. And so when we began to, again, pull back the covers, we began to speak out. We began to label it and call it out and call those out and shed a light on that darkness. Then darkness cannot occupy the same space as light. That's the first. So being able to take that step. And then, there's that self-love. We have to be able to love ourselves and know who we are. I encourage anybody who listens to this, that's not in the Nation of Islam. We have a class called Muslim Girl Training and General Civilization class. And in that class, we learn about who we are as a woman. We learn about who we are as a mother of civilization, mother of this universe. We learn how to have proper male-female relationship.
Yes,
we learn
ma'am.
how to be modest, that in our modesty is really where our power is, that we don't have to sell our souls, sell our bodies, and become prostitutes, whether it's with our physical body, with our time, with our energy, in order to receive something for somebody else to validate us as a woman. We don't have to do that because we're God's woman. And if we believe that, we need someone else to survive or a man to survive, we like Hagar going from pillar to post because we don't believe that we can survive without a man economically, because that's what our sister was doing. She was surviving. She didn't consent to really any of this because she was trying to survive and live. But the reality is that he is our provider. And then there's a support system. When we make the decision that we're going to make Allah first, we make God first, that we're going to stand up, speak up for what's right. And I know, as a 5-year-old to a 10-year-old, I didn't know how I was going to get away from my abuser. But when I saw that opening, that out, I took it. So that's where that courage comes in. So I just want to encourage to speak up. Say something. Say something. And the moment that you shed light on that darkness, I promise you, the light, the path will be illuminated for you to move forward so that healing can begin. But that self-love is important, to know
Yes,
who
ma'am.
you are, know whose you are. Because the enemy don't want you to know who you are and the strength that you have. We're impenetrable people, Black man, Black woman. We can't be destroyed. So when we know that, and we can escape from the enemy's mind, that's why separation has to occur.
Yes, ma'am. All praise due to Allah, you teacher. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. And thank you to everybody who's watching. Yes to the culture silence. And then people are just bearing witness to you in the comments. This is great fire, sisters
Praise
snapping
be to
fingers and all
Allah.
that good stuff. But on the other side of the aisle, with the Black man and the brothers, what can we do? I heard your advice now for this. What can we do to better show you all that we are supporting you all, that we are willing to give and take life in protection for you all? What can we do better to let you all know that we're on the same side and we're standing with you all in solidarity?
Well, this is a lesson. Watching this trial on all fronts in America, it's a lesson for the Black man and the Black woman. That we, brother, y'all been derelict in your duty in the protection of the Black woman, but it's an opportunity to get it right.
Yes, ma'am.
It's an opportunity to speak up for her. It's an opportunity to protect and love your Black woman, to control her, not in the sense that you're trying to dominate her, but controlling the aspect of as a husband, right? You're taking care of your farm, your garden, and you're not allowing any weeds and any bugs to come in to destroy this beautiful crop that's going to give you sustenance and nurturing, right? And nutrition. You want to go in and make sure that you do everything you can to protect her from the enemy. And that means, again, the separation from the enemy, the separation from his political system, from his educational system, from his health system. That you get in the class of the fruit of Islam, that you find out who you are in the sight of Allah, because the enemy tried to hide who you are, the knowledge of self, and which is tandem with the knowledge of God. And when you begin to learn who you are, and that you are God, made in his image, one with force and power, and that she is the second self of God, he shall help me. And when you honor that and you protect that, and y'all come together as one, that you create a new kingdom of heaven. She is your heaven. But when you as a Black man understand that we are so valuable to you, and that we need that protection, we need that maintenance, we need that love from the Black man. We can't do it without you. We love you, Black men, but we need you. We got to get from up under the enemy and get back to our rightful places.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. You teacher per usual, Attorney Sadiyah Karriem. People saying greetings. Yes, ma'am. Teach Muhammad. This is excellent. Wonderful. And I suggest that everybody who's watching, please go back and see the other interviews that we've done with our sister, Attorney Sadiyah Karriem, on the People's Podcast. Every time she comes on, she does a phenomenal job and is very articulate and representing the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, godhood, womanhood. It's just beautiful. Now, the other day we spoke about your son. Well, all of your children are doing amazing things via social media. I feel like I'm watching them grow up and grow into young kings and queens. But I was telling you how I saw you post your son playing the guitar and the pride and the joy that you had. It reminded me of my mother, how she feels about her children and always being a supporter, a momager, just a cheerleader for us. What advice would you give to mothers out there who are watching about the importance of, cheering your children on and supporting their gifts and talents?
Let me say this. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us a lecture series called How to Give Birth to a God. And before I had children, I nursed on how to give birth to a God. I had desire to give birth. I really did. And I studied it. I prepared myself mentally. I prepared myself physically and spiritually. And as Allah would have it, he brought my mate into the picture that would complete this mission and this purpose as a mother for myself. And I'm thankful for that, because he had studied how to give birth to a God. So you got to find the right mate be on the right accord in that aspect. And I tell anybody, my children, none of them were accidents. All of them were intentional, conceived with intention and with the love of Allah. And so when you have the love of God, when you have the intention of producing righteous children, when you are living righteously, when you prepare yourself for a righteous mission, because it is, motherhood is such a phenomenal role that I have. I'm not just a woman, I'm not just a lawyer, but this motherhood for me is real for me, because I am creating saviors that will help in the continuation of this mission. Wow. So you got to have the right material for it. And you got to be ready for this. And then when they do come, then how are you as a mother? I continue to nurse on how to give birth to a God, nursing as well. But I would put seeds of love for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for the messenger in their ear. I would play the lectures. I would tell them who they are. You are a strong Black man. You are a strong Black woman. You're creative. You're intelligent. You love Allah. You love this is what I did on a regular, right? Planting those seeds. And then, of course, they don't give us the book on how to be parents. So everything is, trial and error. But at every stage, I was trying to develop self-development, self-correction. I took on the tools of Dianetics that the minister told us to go to, coupled with the supreme wisdom. I did that so that I could be a better parent for my children. And then when I saw that there was a leaning towards some type of passion or creative ability, then I went all in to make sure that that creative ability was explored or developed. And it may last for 5 minutes, right? I got one son he tried everything. And if that's what he want to do at that moment, then I do everything I can to facilitate that. Then he may change his mind and do something different. And then to watch them develop in their own personhood. I believe in, just because they little, they still have their own personhood. You still consult with their will. I still treat them like little gods, literally. Not with abuse. I try to reason with them. And then we got this powerful community in the nation, Muhammad University of Islam, that educational system, the elevated places, that educational system is unmatched to the world. Because when you teach them at a young age who they are, right? The material that they're made of mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? The world can't compete with them.
Yes, ma'am.
The God that's in them. So so my suggestion, I encourage you to get how to give birth to a God. And it doesn't stop just because you have children already. You continue that. And when they become adults, because I got 3 sets of children, right? I got adults now, I got teenagers, and then I have, the pre-tweens, I think that's what you call them. So it's like 3 whole different realities, and you still teaching as a mother and encouraging, but in a different way. So these teachings, I'm telling you, they're right and exact, and you don't have to hit and miss. You can hit that target with intention and purpose.
Beautiful. This is great. But we have 2 more questions for you. People are saying amen. Go ahead, 45. Beautiful teaching. You're okay. Thank you very much. People are praising you, saying you're beautiful. This is timeless. This is vision. This is visionary. Greetings. This is great. Phenomenal. All praise due to Allah. Okay. Before we're going to end on a serious note, but we have a lighter note real quick. What type of movies do you enjoy watching when you're unwinding, coming back, spending time with your husband, children, and handling law cases and things of that nature?
So I don't like a lot of violence. Let me just say what I don't like. I don't like Black pain. I used to watch it all the time. And I found that the frequency and the vibration, because I'm such a really compassionate, energetic, I'm what you call an empathetic person, empath. So I take on that pain and dealing with it every day. I just did not want to continue the cycle of the low vibration of watching Black pain all the time. So what I started watching, I like documentaries, for sure, anything with knowledge. I'm on YouTube all the time watching the minister. I'm on YouTube all the time listening to things dealing with the metaphysics because I'm very in tune to that as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I love y'all. And don't talk bad about me, but I love C dramas and K dramas. Let me tell you why. Because of family, because it's not full of lust and sex. It's full of love. It's full of hope. It's full of culture, right? I learned so much, and I want to learn a different language at the same time. And then I love, what they call it. I love the cinematography of it all, the beauty of it all. But I can't do action. I can't do, the cussing, the sad. I can't do American TV. I'm a subtitle girl.
Okay.
So that's the kind of movies, the things that I, if I'm watching TV, that's what I'm watching.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. You put this on, and that's the first time we've ever heard as somebody break down the subtitles and watch that on people's podcasts. Very original idea and suggestion. Thank you to everybody who's watching. The once again, everybody's liking.
And I love y'all too. I love y'all. Love y'all.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we want to know, can people intern with you and sisters, who want to learn about going into the field of law and studying? Is that possible?
Absolutely. If you are in Houston, Texas, and I practice criminal defense, and I just recently became a court-appointed attorney. I'm still private practice, but there were a lot of judges, sister judges, who just saw what was happening in the courtroom and knew that these brothers and sisters needed somebody to really advocate for them. And this happened, less than a year ago. Of course, it's not much pay, and I don't do it for the pay. But when I tell you every day is an adventure, and every day I go out and I say, who am I going to help today? Who am I going to help save today? Who am I going to help go home today? Because I do really minister to these brothers and sisters. And I have a big caseload. Like, the cases are just coming, praise be to Allah. But I want to pass down this information to other brothers and sisters who are really sincere and passionate, not about just getting a paycheck, because you can't make money in criminal law, but helping our brothers and sisters in a vulnerable time where they need somebody to really advocate for them. And so if you are interested with that sentiment, with that heart, that you really want to help someone, you really want to advocate, you really want to get in the system, because it's nasty and it's dirty and it's not for the faint of heart. And I tell you, I go in looking like this. I really do, unapologetically. And it doesn't stop me from helping my people. As a matter of fact, it really tremendously helps my people. And so if you're interested and you're Houston and you're serious, then you can reach out to me. So I'm on Facebook, Sister Sadiyah Karriem. You see my name on the screen? Or I'm on Instagram. You can DM me on that as well if you are interested, and we can make it happen.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. Okay. Thank you very much. And hopefully everybody taps in. This is excellent. Something about the attorneys in Houston. I just had attorney Phil Muhammad on like 4 days ago.
That's my brother.
And then we had judges, Brother Warren and
That's
Sister.
my brother.
Some people's, what's sister's name who's a judge?
Sister Michelle Muhammad.
Exactly. There's so many people who are just holding it down in the nation. This is great to highlight. We want to know, as we watch or read the transcript from the trial and keep going, moving forward. So maybe let's say, we don't know how long it's going to be, but you have to probably have to break down the length of the trial, but towards the end of the trial, can you come back and help sum everything up and see the lessons and things that we should learn moving forward?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. It would be my honor and my privilege.
All praise due to Allah. Well, thank you very much. May Allah continue to bless you, your family, all of the believers holding it down in Mosque number 45. And yes, ma'am. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off with the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.